South Asia, that is the Indian subcontinent and its adjacent countries, has a rich Jesuit tradition going back to Francis Xavier in the 16th century. Today, South Asia has the largest number of Jesuits in the world, more than 4,000, spread over schools, colleges, parishes, and other works. But more than their traditional works in education and spiritual training, the society is present in the crisis areas of our times, working with refugees in Afghanistan, Tamil Nadu, and Nepal, involved with the struggle for human rights in Jharkhand, Gujarat, and Bihar, reaching out to persons of other faiths in dialogue and communal harmony, and more recently, engaged in the biggest issue of them all, climate change and environmental disaster. Uniting all Jesuits in their diverse missions is what public communication is all about. And this is what the Society of Jesus does through its various media: telephony, the internet, radio, and video. But even more is done through its print media, the books, periodicals, and pamphlets the Society produces in the several languages of this vast land. This, then, is what Jivan is, a national magazine issued every month which reflects the varied works of the Jesuits in South Asia and is also a sounding board for various Jesuit opinions. In other words, Jivan is both a window and a mirror. Through its pages, Jesuits come to see the various faces of the society, and through its pages again, Jesuits can converse with each other. No one knows this better than the editor, Father Vinayak Jadhav, at St. Xavier's College, Ahmedabad.
What is Jivan? More than a Jesuit magazine, it is a Jesuits magazine. More than an institutional mouthpiece, it is a personalized space, voice, platform for a Jesuit and for those who share the Jesuit vision and mission. Therefore, basically, Jivan represents the life and mission of a Jesuit, the Jesuit ethos, what it makes to be a Jesuit, the Jesuit thinking, Jesuit way of thinking and feeling. It shares the Jesuit dreams and aspirations, struggles and accomplishments, joys and sorrows, successes and failures, hopes and despair.
But it is not enough to have an editor. A good magazine requires different kinds of assistance. Good photographers, for example, or access to a valuable photo archive, for as we all know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Jivan also needs competent and courageous reporters, spread out across this wide country, sending in first-hand reports from the field, interviewing significant persons, and good writers sending in well-thought-out opinion pieces which challenge the reader.
There is a basic urge in me to express, and I thank God for that desire to express. And I made use of this talent, urge, to interview some great personalities like Tom Rees and James Martin of United States, and also our own Cardinal Oswald Gracious.
I started writing with Jivan mainly as in the letters to the editor column, provoked by some of the things that I had read. And before I knew it, I was being invited to write articles. And I thought to myself, what on earth would an all-male religious congregation want to know? Why would they want to have articles related to women? And then I realized that this perhaps is one of the strengths of Jivan. Its width, where it extends the Jesuit option to the option for the poor beyond just looking at marginalized, but just looking at people in general who need to be empowered. I also think partly the inclusion of articles related to women also has to do with the recognition of the collaboration of women, so many women in the mission of the Jesuits.
I was introduced to the Jivan magazine by our parish priest, Father Vincent Vaz, and from then on I've been a subscriber to Jivan. And I've always found the stories, the articles, the information that Jivan gives very enriching. In St. Anne's, I was a member of the media team, and it did help me understand what is the Jesuit work all over, not only in Mumbai, but all over India and in Southeast Asia itself. What interested me mostly was how the Jesuits look into a lot of social issues, a lot of contemporary issues, how they bring into perspective a lot of things that we as lay people sometimes tend to be a little complacent about. And that's something I look forward to whenever I pick up a copy of the Jivan.
So Jivan has done a lot of good to us religious, for it's updating us with the religious happenings all around the world, and for the laity too, it shows them who we are, what we are doing, and where the Jesuits are moving. So I would say, as a humble Jesuit, keep up the good work and let's continue impacting this world of ours.
The most consoling in Jivan is the Jivan team. The team made of the editorial board members and the admin staff. The editorial board, ever ready to meet, ever ready to plan, think creatively out of the box, and not just think and sit and plan, but to solicit articles from diverse regions, from diverse writers, and be committed in getting these articles. The admin staff, made of the editorial administrator, the designer, and the copy editor, who work round the clock during the month, make it possible right in time. Jivan is fun, in the Jesuit parlance, consolation with and because of the editorial team.
Now I've moved into a new phase where I am one of the members of the editorial board, and I must say I find it both it's a privilege, but it's also very inspiring to work with people who know so much about publishing. I have learned a lot, I've contributed a lot, and one thing that I can be happy about is that definitely after joining the editorial team, there is a greater consciousness about the kind of visuals that are used in terms of inclusion of women. Also the articles, they have a greater consciousness with regard to inclusive language. So I'm very happy to be on this team. I also have learned a lot in terms of visuals, in terms of layout, and it's been a very enriching experience. And I really I think it's a privilege, and I look forward to continuing to be on the Jivan team.
Jivan does make a difference. In the wake of the assassination of Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister of India, there were hundreds of Sikhs who were massacred on the streets of Delhi and in other parts of North India. And in just over a month from that day, Jivan was able to publish a whole story on what we young Jesuits had done in response to the crisis at that time. The struggle for human rights is not easy. Doing advocacy work is even more difficult. But each time over the years, successive editors of Jivan have published the stories of Jesuits working for a more just and humane society. We have our universal apostolic preferences just now. We are called to respond to the cries of the excluded. We are called to accompany the youth. We are called to work towards a more balanced ecological system. Above all, we are called to bring the spiritual exercises to one and all. In all this, I believe Jivan plays a very significant role. It educates, it illuminates, and above all, this great magazine of the Jesuits of South Asia bring to people a new meaning in their lives.
It is always good to know you are appreciated for what you do. For our task at Jivan is daunting: to widen our window on the world today, to hold a mirror to what the Jesuits of South Asia aspire to be.